Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Hey, YouTubers, Facebookers, and Instagrammers. We're doing a different little episode this week. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking about you never see me just walking my dog. I'm going to talk about the ins and the outs and why I don't ever do that and what's important to a working breed spaniel. So I'm just going to make her disappear so I can talk to you without her getting distracted or bored. So here we go. Right, so we've magically disappeared Honey, and so what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to talk about why I don't ever just walk my dog. The first thing I would say is if you are falling into that illusion that you have to walk your dog twice a day for X, Y, Z amount of time, if you're just focusing on doing walks, you've probably already given up on your training. So you'll never see me just doing lead work sessions on their own. I do little clips here or there just to show people, but generally all my training is schooling. And so what I mean by that is these dogs need their brains to be exercised, not their legs. Their legs will go all day, have no doubt about that. And by a year old, your dog will go and go and go, because ultimately you've got to remember you've bought a working breed dog. And these dogs are meant to hunt and find game for a whole day out. And so if you think you're going to exercise that energy off them, all you'll do is get them fitter and fitter, and they'll do more and more, and you'll probably fall into lots of traps and issues that come with that. So what I try and encourage my clients to do is think about schooling the dog. So people often say to me, oh, Spaniels, they're crazy, they're just tearing around. What it is that dog has never been given anything to focus on. And what I'm trying to do is get my dog to focus on things that me and my dog can do together. The problem with the Spaniel is a lot of them by nature are quite independent. And what I mean by that is if you just let them run around, and often they will stick close to start with, but I get a lot of messages 6, 8, 10, 12 months, people saying, hey Chris, our dog used to be really responsive, it used to come back and now it's terrible, or it's started chasing game, or it pulls on the lead, or never looks at us. Lots and lots of issues. They're literally messages week in, week out that I get like that. And a lot of pups at the beginning are reliant on you, so they don't go very, very far. But that's the point where you want to start entertaining the dog in and around. If you notice with a lot of my vlog series, hopefully you've watched some of those. If you haven't, go back. You've got Charlie's vlog, Billy's vlog, and we're doing Honey's vlog at the moment. You can see all the process that I'm going through. And the common denominator at the beginning is nothing is happening away from me. All the fun stuff is going right underneath my feet. So my dog is learning to find things in and around me or interact with in and around me. The problem is, as I said at first, and this can vary from dog to dog, and there are some dogs that never end up being a problem, but I'm talking as a general what I would see across the main majority of dogs that I would come into contact with. And normally dogs start to become a little bit more independent 5, 6, 7 months old, sometimes a little bit later. But in those early stages, they make you feel secure. They come back when you call them. And I've said before, you know, you can drop down and call a puppy in just saying windmills and they'll come back to you. But as they get more independent and stronger minded, they start to pull further and further away from you. And what we tend to find with novice handlers is that the issue that they have got will often have been established for some time before they even register that they've got an issue. So the classic one is letting the dog run around because you're trying to expend some of that energy for that working breed dog that you bought, and they start finding things. The classic one is bumping into something on a hedgerow. At first it can often just be a bit of interest, then it becomes a couple of steps, and 5 months later it's chasing game down a wood or a blackbird or a jenny wren. I've seen them literally chase anything they can, and once they're chasing, that is a massive issue. I mean, that's a completely other topic. I don't want to go on to that today, but my point being is the reason I'm trying to keep my dog entertained is so that I keep my dog's concentration on me. And why I'm such a massive advocate of retrieving, because there is no better tool than a retrieve to keep your dog's mind occupied. And there are a plethora, dozens and dozens of different things you can do with that dog through a retrieve that exercise it, but make it interact with you through that exercise and that retrieve. And that's why I'm such a big advocate. And I know you bought your dog as a pet, like a lot of my clients do, but that doesn't exempt you from the prevalent issues within this dog. And if you don't embrace a dog and learn how to manage it, you could get your fingers burnt. And that's the thing that I see again and again and again. So as I said, the reason why I'm not just walking my dog, okay, is because as soon as you're walking, you're not training. And I'm trying to train all the time. I'm schooling. And what I see a lot of is people think a couple of months training is going to be enough, and it really isn't. Little Honey at the moment, if you're following her vlogs, she's only 6 months old. Yes, she can do quite a lot, but she could lose all that just like that. And so I have to keep her progressing forwards. I'm schooling her, making her concentrate, interact with me, giving her new things to learn all the time. And I will progress her training on and on and on and on until she gets to hopefully a really, really good level. But what I'm not doing is just letting her run around or taking her for walks on the lead. And that's really, really important. I want to occupy my dog's mind. If you occupy your dog's mind, you can exercise their legs through it and make those two parts work together. But if you just let your dog run around, which will exercise your dog's legs, that will lead to other things. So as I'm always saying, everything you will see me doing in the first 18 months is pretty much within a very short distance in and around me. And 10-15 minutes of focused training is like 40 minutes running around a field. So it's not about quantity, it's about the quality of what you've done. You want to get good quality in your training first, and then only build volume in there. So to give you an idea, I've just been out training with Charlie, which is Honey's father. I'm hoping to trial him at the tail end of this season, so go and do some competitions if I have time. And a hard session for him is probably about 30 to 40 minutes. And in that 30-40 minutes, I've exhausted this as well as this, because he does everything at a million miles an hour, but he's also having to concentrate with it. Those two things together really exhaust him, and that will flatten him for the rest of the day. And then I'll train again tomorrow, and I've trained 5 days a week, around half an hour each day on those. With Honey, she's 6 months old. I'd probably do between 10 and 15 minutes once a day, 5 days a week. But those sessions, all that energy's directed into doing 2 or 3 different drills perhaps. Okay, so this is working as well as this. Anyway, I hope this has been some help to you. I hope I haven't garbled on too much. Don't forget to subscribe and like, guys. It really does help my channel if you can. And if you have any questions, stick them down in the description. Otherwise, another Honey's vlog coming out very soon, guys. Happy training.